Hello everyone, good day. This is a pre-recorded video about class constructor. In our previous class, we already discussed how we can create our class in C++ and create objects of it. And the last activity you have is to create a class hero, completing all the functions that I give to you, and create a 5 objects out of that class hero. So right now, I'll always also complete the class member. So last time I only told you that we only have 2 members or classification of members in our class, which is the class attributes or variables and class functions or method. Right now we only have we also have class constructor. So follow along with me so that you will learn how you can create class constructors in your class. Okay, so first we are going to create our class here, and right now I'll be creating a class for student. Okay, so I have now class students. So every class there is a constructor that is automatically called when the class is initialized or the object is already created on that class. Okay, so when we create an instance of this class here in our main function by just calling this class and creating a student or an object of the class. For example, student of class, and the name of that is Venhart. So by naming or creating object for the student class, you also initialize the class constructor. Now class constructor is also a special method. It is because you can set settings when the class is called. So right now, since in our class definition there is no class constructor, then it only doesn't do something. But right now, what if we're going to create our class constructor and see what will happen? Okay, to create a class constructor, first is you don't forget to set public access modifier. Okay, because all of our constructors is also public. Okay, so make sure class members are will be um, having access modifiers, how we can access our members of our class, since this class constructor is also a special member of our class, so we should set it up. So right now, it is a function that is the same with the name of the class. So meaning the name for that one is student. So this is what we can define our constructor on our student class. So it is a method that has a similar name. Look at the first letter of the student, still the same, and there is a open close parenthesis because this is a method or a function. So that means, okay, so this is a very special one because there is no data type intended for this function. So it is used for setting some configuration, setting variables before initialization of the object. Right now, I'll just output something on our constructor, like cout hello. It will load or it will output automatically when object is created. Okay, so that one. So we did not do something here. We just create an instance of our class by creating or using the student class and naming it to Venhart. So right now I did not do something, but we just create our constructor here at the top. So as we can see right now, when we run our program, it's automatically now having an output, and that output is hello. It will output, sorry for typographical error, automatically when this object is created. So that is the work of a constructor. So it 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 automatically generate or operate when the object is created. So for example, I'll create another one for student, and for example, Jill. So I have now two object from our class student. So right now, when we run our program, we see two output of our hello. It will output automatically because this one is automatically it is automatically um, execute for the in the first object Bernhard, and the other one is automatically execute from the from the object G. So that's how we can visualize that if there is a constructor, it automatically um, execute when the object is created. So if there is no constructor here, it's still no problem because the C++ language will also detect that there is no definition in the class constructor student. So when we create or run a program, we don't see or getting some output since there is no class definition for our constructor. So follow with my discussion because I'll be showing you how we can create an actual um, way we can benefit constructor by setting some object data. Okay, so for now, we'll just leave it the way we can create our object in our class. Then we will going to add some attributes in our students that were really needed here. So for example, I need name, so I put it string, string L name, string F name, string middle name. I also need um, string gender, string um, date of birth. Okay, so date of birth. So I guess this is where all I need for this student. We can also add some school information like string course and year level, yeah, and string college. So that's it for the school information, and we also provide int ID number. So those are the variables or class variables that we need to have in our class student. Okay, so in order for us to create some functions that in our class, we can create output student information and output school information. So we can use void date function. So we're just only outputting data. So output info. So just output what we need to output here. So cout ID number, student ID number, and we just use ID number and line and cout student name. So we should follow the format of having the last name first, followed by first name, and then the middle initial. So let us do it. First is the last name, concatenation, add a comma, and F name, concatenation again, add space, and the M name and end line. So that's how we can have for the student name. And for gender, we have cout, we have uh, gender, we have gender, and cout, date of birth. So we just output date of birth. That's it. For the output info, then we need to add another functions to output some course information. So just have void school info. Just do the same this format here. Just copy our codes here from ID number to name, and cout for the college the students belong. So we have college, and we have also the course. Don't forget to add the course variable, and we have also the year level. So year level. So that's it, right? So here we can have this class, and we can try to use some of the functions so that we can see if there is an output that we can see in our object. So we can here use Venhart first, Venhart, and I'll use the output info, and we also have to use also output school info. So now when I run this one, run. So there is a problem where, because I don't have a semicolon here on line number 27, so run it again. So here I see some of the data which is empty. Okay, that's natural that ID number is having this one because it's an integer. So all we need to do is we are lacking a value that we assign the data for our object. We did not assign ID value for ID, value for L name, value for first name, value for middle name, value for gender. So that's it, right? So we have to put it. So in here, normally what we do in this scenario is just to actually go to the object and then use the class operator and access the data that we have, like student number, or the ID number, then assign an ID number like 1 4 2 3 4 something. Sorry about that. 1 2 3 4 5 6, or 1 4 3 4 4 5 5 6 6. For example, that is your ID number, and assign a value for that, which is another one, which is the name, the first name, or the last for the last name. So L name, my name, Alejo, uh, Benhart, F name, which is my name, John Benhart, and Benhart M name is equal to my middle name, Torres. So then we have also our date of birth, uh, date of birth. So I'll just put here Yeah, for example, okay, 8/16/1992, for example. That is your date for that. And then the gender, I have the male, and course or college from CAS, for example. And if I am a student and my course is IT, BSINT, and my year level, for example, is second year student, we are classmates, for example. So year level, that's it. So assign a value for all the class attributes in our class definition. So now we can run our program. We can now see what the data we assigned into, right? So that's normally what we do in our previous lesson. So right now we need to change this approach so that we can save more space here. And when we are actually creating this object here, we need automatically supply the data that we need. Okay, so right now I'll just comment here what is on the variable, or we assign value here, and we need to add another, we need to create a constructor here, that this constructors one, this one is setting the value of all for this data. So we can use student right now, and then we can also specify, we can add data in our parameter in our function. So we can add here data like int int id number, or id, or int stud id for id number, string stud l name for l name, string stud f name for f name, and string m name for stud f name, sorry, stud m name for middle name, and string stud gender, and string stud dob, date of birth, and we have stud string stud course, int stud year level yl, and string stud college. So that's we add parameters or arguments in the parameter list so that we can pass data on our in our student. Okay, so as we can see here, we can have to pass data like how many data that we need: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, 8, and 9. So that's we have to pass 9 data in our parameter. So right now, since we have now the data, we can now assign whatever the data here from our parameter list. Like ID number is equal to stud ID, L name is equal to stud L name from our parameter list, um, F name is equal to stud F name from our parameter list, M name from our class variable assigned to stud M name for a parameter list, gender is equal to stud gender, date date birth is equal to stud date of b, course is equal to stud course, year level is equal to stud YL, and college is equal to stud college. So that's here we assign our value here from our class variable and assign it to whatever we pass it our data here. So in this one, when we create our Benhart here, the student, we just add parameter here, and now we can now pass data like 1442245 that's an integer for any number, and have the same Alejo, that is for second parameter, then my first name John Van Hart, and um yeah, then we have my middle name Torres here, and what is next, the gender we have male, then we have also the date of birth, example 08/16/1992 for example, course BSINT college. After the course, you need to be familiar with um, the next data that you have to pass. So we have the date of birth, we have the course, we have the year level, which is 2. I need the 2 in the tier 2 because we need to not to include this one because it is an integer. And we also have the college, which is the class. So now once we create we initialize our data, our object here in our class student, then automatically we pass data on our constructor. So now we run our code. So stud m name, we have a problem here, assigning a wrong spelling for m name. So run it again, and there is an I here, just to remove it. Run. So as we can see here, student Jill cannot longer use this instantiation because in our class definition you need to put data on this part. So in order for us to make it fast, because I don't have any time, I will let this one comment first and check our work here. Okay, so run it again. As we can see, we still managed to pass data as what we did a while ago by doing this one, but right now we can also pass data through our uh, form here, like what we did here. We access individual data on that one, on this. So this is how 101 practical example of using constructor in our class definition. Okay, so what if you have to create use this style also here, still Jill, and you are also want to use this kind of approach, Jill that ID number and assign, for example, 7744 from for that one, and Jill that last name, for example, is for example Acosta. So you are using this the old way of doing that, but you are getting error for this because your class definition is not the one that we are using right lately. But if you were going to pursue that, you can also use this kind and also use this kind, so you need to specify and you need to create student constructor also here, And we have now two students but not having the same parameter, and we called it constructor overloading. That means you have now the flexibility of your code, your class, how it will be used. So right now, for now, this one is just to create, to solve this problem here. So by doing that, it solves our problem. It doesn't now have an error for this style. If we can output it, okay, we just create another C out here for us to see it clearly for the next object. Okay, and line. So now output these gl dot outputs to info. So right now we can now also the same access and output data to our form. So we have now two-way. It's either you use the old ones that we learned previously, or we can pass data through our constructor. So still the same, by just we have here only putting an um, empty constructor to solve our error, that because we need to finish out to also use this kind of technique for your more flexibility. Then you can just add later on this. So that's how we can have for our class constructor. Class constructor is very also special function because it will automatically load once the class or object is already created. Okay, so your activity next time is to add some of these class definition. Um, you can add if you want there for the student here, that automatically here it will automatically calculate the age of the student if na siya, because you now have the date of birth, right? We have the date of birth, so we can here, since there is an empty, you can calculate here, calculate the age of the um, object. No, calculate the age of the student here. If you're using this style of constructor, your constructor will add or calculate the student age. So the formula of their student age is the current year minus the birth year. Okay, so that's how you can create or have an age. Since you have now the date of birth, all we need to do is to use the current year right now. So I will try my best to demonstrate it to you also here. So the first thing that I need to do is to separate now to separate the 1992, the month, and uh, the month, the age, and the month, the sorry, the day and the year. So first we had to specify the birth date, like for example birthday. For example, it's 10 of 14, okay, 1995 for example. So we need to separate the 10, the 14, and 1995. So what we can do for that is to use the L trim. Okay, so see, let us find some built-in functions to do that. So C++, get We have the substr function. This function is to get some of the on the string. So we have the format here. So this is the one that we need to do for that. So let us try to do it. We have now date of birth is 10. We are using this student constructor that generate this one. So it, it automatically output if this is the one that you uses. We need to output something here, and we need to output first the date. Okay, um, birth month. We have to separate it now for now, and see out birthday and the birth year of the student. We need to separate it because in our data it is enclosed with one string. So we need to do that here without using the substr. Sorry for that. I did not want to put it there. Substr and the data that we need to, which is the date of birth. Substr and first key value. The first key. So and how many or the length that we need to get on that string. So we need to have two here. So for the birth month, that will have a get, for example, to output the 08 only. Let us try if that is really working. Substr. Okay, I am wrong. I thought this is PHP. So I just how they clear it. Just first is the name of the data and then that substr. Okay, that's the one. So date of birth variable, then that substr, and then the index, the first where to start, and the length. So it starts with zero key, index key 0. So let us try to run it again. And we can see on birth month, birthday, and birth year, we did not get something on our data. We did not get any of it. So they sub str. Why we did not get it? Okay, let us try to include some library. Include header h. Sorry, string.h, because we are using the sub str. So let us try to run it again, and hopefully it is now working. But sad to say, it's not working properly. Oh man. So let us try it again. Why it did not? Okay, I see. Okay, it will not work. It will not work with this case because during the initialization, the data from the jail is vacant. It's not really working on that part because there is no value data on that. So to do that, to solve this, let us not put it here. Just leave it empty, the student one. We need next meeting will just give us some example that we need to put it there. But right now we can create here, and we can stress it out. Like we have to create, okay, a void function age generate. Okay, so that's it. Okay, so right now we need to do is to output age generate. Let us try to run it again. And by this time, we did now see that there is now 10. We get that 10 here from our birthday. So we managed to separate now the month. Then we need to continue the year. Same thing that we need to do here. Um, um, we need to start at 2 and that one. So let's try to work it out. Date of birth. What is happening? Okay, end line. Okay, run. So we need to add something here because we did not get what we want. We need to get the 14 and we want to make it into 14 here. So it starts with 3. Okay, starts with 3 and 2 length. So run. So we have now 14 and then now we have 1995. So it starts again here. Starts with, I think it's 5 and 2 and line. Just we are just testing here if we can get individual data. Okay, and we need to forget that we need to make sure that the entire 4 digits of 4. Okay, we have now. So from the one data string, we know separate it using the sub str. Okay, good. So all we need to do is to